Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniം Bhagavatim Ashtadashaധ്യായിനീം Amba Tvamanusandathami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshinim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullarvindayatapatra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vitraikaparnaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamritaduhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Duktha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Vasudevasatam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Hari Om. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18. We saw how this beautiful chapter started with a question from Arjuna asking Bhagavan about the different types of tyaga. No, sorry. He didn't ask about the different types of tyaga. He asked about the difference between tyaga and sannyasa, because these are words that he would have heard in the tradition. For some reason, they very much interest Arjuna. And Bhagavan takes time to explain the views of other people on these words. And then he himself starts to tell what tyaga and sannyasa is according to him, which is what really we care about, right? And so before he does that, he says, well, Arjuna, I'm going to tell you what tyaga is. But remember that tyaga is not so simple. You can't just say, this is tyaga. There's different types of tyaga. Is it not that, if I say I'm going to, tyaga means renunciation or abandonment, like dropping. If I say I'm going to drop doing dishes, that's the same as I'm going to drop staying up late and playing video games till 1 a.m. There are different kinds of dropping, first of all. And fine, I'm gonna not eat sweets, or I'm not eating sweets because I know they're not good for me. They're different, right? So you can't clump all tyaga in one box. So Bhagavan says, first of all, there's different types of tyaga. 3 different types of tyaga. And he gets to it. We saw that last week. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic tyaga. He also, the fact that there are different types of tyaga means those types of tyaga will have different results. So he explained tamasic tyaga is dropping what you ought to do, dropping duty, out of delusion and confusion and wrong thinking that the other thing that I'm going to be doing is better for me. It's better for me to be going and having fun right now than it is for me to be sitting here and doing my work, right? So because of delusion, I drop what I ought to be doing. Then Rajasic Tyaga is, I drop what I ought to be doing. I don't do what I should be doing, but I drop it as a result of fear, as a result of worry that I'm going to go through discomfort as a result of doing it. Not because I don't think it's good. I know I ought to be doing it. I know I say I should be doing it, right? So in my mind, I know it's good, but there's something that prohibits me from doing it, which is a fear of discomfort to this body, a fear of the fact that I don't know how to face the problem, like that. Something inhibits me from doing it, even though I know it's good. And the third type of tyaga, sattvic tyaga, interestingly, is not give up the action, but it's give up the attachment to the action. Give up the likes and dislikes and keep the action itself. Keep your duty, but what you give up is the likes and dislikes that make us, well, the narrative that comes with it, Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I'm so excited to do this. That is what we have to give up in sattvic tyaga. Now, when we hear, eventually the goal is to, in ultimate sannyasa, we give up all actions, right? Which is what Arjuna was wanting to do, but without the right bhava. And so when we hear this kind of thing, and this question had come up last week, that, the rishis have such high expectations for us. Do your duty without any attachment, without any expectation, without any likes or dislikes, uncompromisingly. It just feels like I'm not there. How that's what you want me to do? How? And when a child says they want to go to medical school or they want to become a doctor, you don't expect that the child thinks they're going to go to med school tomorrow and become a doctor tomorrow. Even though they say, I'm going to become a doctor, in their mind, they understand, or everybody understands, that if they're in primary school, it means they still have to do junior school, they still have to do high school, they still have to do university, they still have to do med school, they still have to do residency, they still have to internships and all of that. They understand all of that is included before they take that Hippocratic oath and become a doctor. So the same way, when the rishis tell us this is sattvic tyaga and this is what you should be doing, there's an understanding that it's a journey from where I am to where I'm going. So if right now I'm not doing my duty because I think other things are better for me, I'm going to get more joy by going and hanging out with my friends than studying right now. Well, then you should try to move from tamasic to rajasic, which is no, I know the right thing is for me to do my duty. But there's a discomfort of FOMO, and there's a discomfort of all these other things because of which I'm not doing it. So I acknowledge, no, this is what I should be doing, but there's something that prohibits me from doing it. But in my mind, it's not, that is better for me. There's always, no, the duty is better for me. Then from there, I move to, one level between Rajasic and Sattvic, which is I'm doing my duty, not doing it. So I'm doing my duty, but I'm praising myself for doing it. I'm doing it with likes and dislikes. I'm saying, oh, this one's good, this one's bad. Saying it, but I'm still doing it. Right? Then only I reach the stage where I'm doing it without saying it's good or bad. So I remove the labels, right? And so we're supposed to acknowledge where we are, and then we're supposed to move to the ideal. But the acknowledgement of where we are is also supposed to come without any judgment. It's not a bad thing for me to be where I am. I am where I am, right? If I want to make myself feel better than I am or more evolved than I am in this journey of tyaga, then I'm never actually going to evolve, right? So with total lack of judgment, I acknowledge where I am in this stage, and I try to move along the path towards the ideal where I'm able to do action, I'm able to do my duty without the mind complaining, without the mind feeling ecstatic, just with the thought, it ought to be done. Right? So this is our journey. Now Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna something very interesting. Because again, the question keeps coming in the mind, but tyaga means giving up. So shouldn't I just be giving up all karmas? right? Why can't I just give up all karmas? And so Arjuna asks, that question is there behind the mind. And now Bhagavan Krishna answers that for anyone who has that potential doubt that, can't I just give up all karma? So now we'll chant. This is verse number 11. I hope that you all have your Bhagavad Gita. So you make sure that I'm not making up things, but also so that you develop your own relationship with the text. In Chinmay Mission, Gurudev was insistent on everyone having the text in front of them. Not just because, he would make jokes that you have to check that I'm saying what's in the book and all that, right? But because we're supposed to learn directly from the Shastra. We don't have intermediaries over here. We have a parampara that explains to us what Shastra says, but we're looking at the Shastra and learning directly from the Shastra. So make sure you have that book in front of you. Our digital version, if you won't get distracted by other things, you have the digital version with you also all the time. Okay, let's chant. Nahi deha bhrutam shakyam.
Nahi deha bhrita shakyam.
Nahi deha bhrita shakyam.
Nahi deha bhrita shakyam.
त्यक्तुं कर्माण्यशेषतः
Tyaktum karmanyasheshatah.
यस्तु कर्मफलत्यागी
Yastu karma phalatyagi.
सत्यागी त्यभिधीयते.
Satyagityabhidhiyate.
नहि देहभृता शक्यं त्यक्तुं कर्मणि अशेषतः. It is impossible for someone not with the body, for someone who nourishes their body, pampers their body, takes care of their body, loves their body like that, to completely drop karma. For someone who thinks about their body, it is not possible to completely drop karma. I have a body, I take care of it, I consider its comforts. I can't not do karma. Now, a teenager might say, no, watch me sit and do nothing. But they don't realize that sitting is doing something. Doing nothing is doing. There's still a doing in doing nothing, right? It is not possible to do nothing if we have a body, right? One definition of action is that which exhausts us, right? Now you tell me, is it not true that sitting and doing nothing is very exhausting? That's why they're always tired because they're sitting and doing nothing. So doing any kind of doing is eventually exhausts us. The body has prana, right? The body is breathing. We are breathing. It's involuntary, but it's still there. We need to eat, we need to clean, we need to go and move around. And someone with a body also has a mind, right? You can stop the mind from doing activity. Mind, stop. That's when the mind makes more noise. It doesn't work. There's always activity going on for someone who has a body. And so Bhagavan is encouraging us to give up the thought that we can one day become free from karma, meaning, this holiday season is coming up. I can't wait to have nothing to do. We have that feeling. I just can't wait till I have nothing to do, right? When I finish my duties, I'm just going to sit there in front of the fire and watch the snow, and I'm going to listen to music and whatever. People have that whole thing in their mind that this is the thing that's going to give me joy. Well, the mind, Bhagavan is saying, no, let your mind shift in its thinking to say, I can't wait till I don't feel one way or the other about what I have to do. I don't think, oh God, I don't think, oh God, I have to brush my teeth. let me take that back. Last year, it was established that we're not so sure about that either, right? I, I don't say, oh God, I have to eat this prasad that I love, right? Most of the time we don't say all that stuff, right? So, in the same way, we shouldn't have that feeling of, oh God, I have this duty. Oh God, I can't wait for this duty to finish. Because karma is not going anywhere. It's right there with us. It's not going anywhere. And he goes on to say in this verse that Yahatu karma phala tyagi, the one who gives up karma phala, meaning attachment to fruits of action, insistence on fruits of actions, insistence on me getting karma in a certain way, sa tyagi iti abhidhiyate. That person is a real tyagi. Arjuna, you want to know who's a tyagi? A real tyagi is someone who doesn't insist on karma phala coming to him the way he wants it. What will happen to a child who gets a Smarties box? You know those Smarties boxes you get in Halloween and all? They get a Smarties box and they say, I really wish all the Smarties in here are blue. I really, really wish all the Smarties in here are blue. And then they open it and they take out the first Smartie and it's pink. Well, that's it. This is the worst day of my life. I really wanted it to be blue. And really, you'll see children crying about that. True or false? They cry about the color of Smarties. Doomed to disappointment because they have this strong insistence on karma phala being a certain way. It is impossible for karma phala to come the way we want it, right? So this karma phala, this tyagi, having given up likes and dislikes with respect to duty, now Bhagavan is saying he gives up with respect to the fruits that will come. He's giving up insistence on the fruits of actions coming the way I want. And we've talked about this extensively, even in chapter 18 itself. We've talked about that. Karma phala has to come. It is the natural overflow of karma. We have to watch it come, right? But the mind is so used to thinking, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? How am I suddenly going to become karma phala tyagi? How am I suddenly going to not have any expectation for the results that are coming? It's not going to happen overnight, right? So currently, I have sankalpas in my mind when I do karma that, when I do this, I'm going to get that. And when I do this, I'm going to get that. And they're all tangible material things. So the encouragement from Shastra is, instead of thinking about tangible things I'm going to get as a result of karma, I shift my thinking to chittasya shuddhaye karma. Karma is done for purity of mind. I want to do my duty in such a way that it brings purity of mind, calmness of mind, peace of mind, love for Bhagavan, like that. So yes, I'm still expecting, but now I start to expect non-material things in my sadhana as a stepping stone, So I shift my attention from tangible things to, purity of mind. Now, Bhagavan is very clear. You cannot not do karma. You have to do karma, right? We're not there where we can drop all karma. So what karma to do? Well, do your duty. That's the smart thing to do. That's the smart option. We're obsessed with smart. Why don't we choose smart duties also? We want smartphones and smart TVs and smart fridges. I don't understand what a smart fridge is. Does it tell you what to cook based on the groceries that are in there? Or I actually don't know what a smart fridge is, but they exist, right? Smart fridges exist also. Now, anyways, smart karma is do your duty without labeling and accept the results without labeling. Now, so it's simple. Do your duty and leave the rest. Don't think about anything once you've done your duty, right? No. Everything is happening exactly as it ought to happen. That is the principle. If you look back at your life, see, this is what helps to make it a little easier to digest in the moment also. When you look back at your life, how many examples can you think of where something happened and you thought it was terrible and it shouldn't have happened. But in retrospect, you see the blessings and you say, I'm glad it happened. You say, my life wouldn't have been the same without it, in a good way. How many times do we look back at our life and say, well, everything that has been completed in our life, we look back and say, no, I see it was a blessing actually. I didn't like it at the time, but it was a blessing. If you don't feel that for something currently, it's because that has not yet finished and it's you're still going through something in it before you get to the point where you see the blessing in it, right? But you just imagine your life without the feeling of, I wish this didn't happen, or I wish this happened in this way, or I wish. Just imagine your life without insistence. Just how much more peaceful your life would be. Instantly, we're looking for peace. We're looking for time to have peace. But Bhagavan is saying you don't need time to have peace. Right here with this whole list of things that you have to do, you can get peace right here with this whole list. So the lack of peace is not because you have things to do. The lack of peace is how you're doing it. Change the way you do it. Change the attitude with which you do it, and you will get instant peace. This is the principle. You can't run away from duty. You can't run away from action. You have to do, but do in such a way that you're peaceful. Simple. This is principle. Now, the interesting thing is that a realized person does not have, they have a body. Right? Realized people have bodies. They move around, they've walked and lived and talked and ate and everything. But they don't feel that they are the body. They are not pampering the body. They're not thinking about the comforts of the body. They're not interacting with their body the way we interact with our body. And they really feel that actions happen through them, not by them. And so they are the ones who don't have karma. A realized person is one who doesn't have duty. So when Bhagavan is saying it's not possible for someone with a body to give up karma, well, if you don't feel you have a body, you actually don't feel you're the body, then you have no duty. And that's how they have no duty. But ironically, they are the ones who do the most for society. You tell me, all of us here right now put together, can we achieve in our lives, all of us put together, here, online, everywhere, right? What one Pujya Gurudev did in his lifetime. Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya dropped his body at the age of 32. I think there might be only like a couple of people here that are in that age range of 32 and under, if even, right? The amount of work he did in those 32 years, we cannot finish studying in lifetimes. Forget do. We cannot finish study. We cannot even read in lifetimes. So the ones who have no duty end up doing the most. It's really ironic, right? But Bhagavan is very clear that we cannot give up duty, so we should not even try. Just keep your duty and do it with the right attitude. That's the principle. Now, in the next verse, very interestingly, Bhagavan, see, we do mixed actions. We do good actions and we do bad actions. We talked about this. So if we do good actions and bad actions, then we're bound to get good results and bad results, right? Now, what is going to happen is Bhagavan is going to go into a detailed analysis of karma. Why? To help us see that this plan of ours of doing things to get what we want is not going to work. This plan of insisting on fruits of action is not going to work. Also, to highlight, see, karmas bind us, correct? I mean, whether we like it or not, we are bound to reap the results of karma. But by understanding karma, we can use that karma to come out of our sorrow. Like, you know how you use a thorn to remove a thorn? I mean, theoretically, I've never actually used a thorn to remove a thorn from my finger or anything, but that's what they explain, right? You use a thorn to remove a thorn. So we use a certain type of karma to come out of the bondage of karma. So now Bhagavan is going to analyze karma for us. So let us see, it's a very beautiful analysis that makes us think about karma in a way we have not thought about it before. This next few verses coming. Anishtam mishtam mishram cha
अनिष्टं मिष्टं मिश्रं च
trividham karmanah phalam
त्रिविधं कर्मणः फलम्
bhavattyayoginam pretya. Oh no. Bhavatyatya bhavatyatyaginam pretya.
भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रीत्य
न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित्.
न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित्.
Okay. Anishta mishta mishram cha trividham karmana phalam. The phalas, the fruits, the results of actions are of three types. One, anishtam, undesirable. Two, ishtam, desirable. Please notice how Bhagavan put undesirable first and then he put desirable, because which one do we get more of? The first, undesirable. Is a result always undesirable or desirable? Either means this was a totally desirable result, this was a totally undesirable result. Like, you spend your day planning to watch a movie at night, and now night has come, and now you're watching a movie. Is the watching of the movie a desirable result or an undesirable result? Well, see, what if I wasn't able to finish what I wanted to finish before I started to watch the movie? So now I'm watching it, desirable, but I wanted to do something that I couldn't do. So there's a mix now of desirable and undesirable. Is the movie okay, fine, I finished everything. Is the movie as good as I thought it would be? Or do I feel like now I'm wasting my time? Why am I watching this? Really, I thought it would be better. You know? Can I justify it by saying that I'm watching it to take Vedanta from it? Like, what am I doing here? Or, okay, I'm watching it, but in my mind, I'm thinking, no, tomorrow it's going to be really hard to get up for class in the morning. Is this really a good idea? So, all these thoughts, even while I'm getting something that I desired, it is possible to have all feelings of undesirable results at the same time, right? So the third category, which is, I think, the most common for us, is mishram. Mishram is mixed. We must certainly get mixed results because we're doing mixed karmas. You know, if I'm eating healthy vegetables, is that a good karma or a bad karma? Well, that's a good karma. But you know how much papa happened along the way for me to eat those healthy vegetables? Bugs had to be killed because of all the pesticides that they spray. Pollution had to happen. Farmers had to be unfairly paid. Corruption had to happen in the supply chain. I mean, I'm not talking about when you grow your own vegetables. I'm talking about when you go and buy it, right? And by consuming the vegetables, I am actually a part contributor to all of the karmas that were required for me to get it so I could eat it. So, I mean, every single moment, mixed karmas are happening, right? So, how will I not get mixed results? Then, when I eat anything, say I eat something healthy, right? Well, a part of me is happy that I'm eating healthy, but a part of me is sad, but I want to be eating pizza instead of this boring food. I mean, the mind has those things, right? Or if I'm eating unhealthy, oh yeah, this is so delicious. I'm so excited. I'm eating it. But the intellect is regretting, why are you doing this again? So at the same time, both feelings exist, right? Mishram is very known to us. Anishtam Ishtam, Mishram. Undesirable, desirable, mixed results. Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya explains that anishtam, undesirable results, means you'll be born like in Naraka or as an animal or something. Meaning you suffer and you lose your discriminative faculty and you go through sorrow. And that's anishtam. Ishtam is you become like a devata. You go to Swarga. You become responsible for a cosmic portfolio. But really, what is Swarga? Swarga is where you fulfill your desires for name, fame. You get a portfolio. Hello, I'm Indra, that's power. Then Vitta, there's no dearth of wealth in Swarga. So you get all the wealth that you want. And Putrishna, all the enjoyments that you could ever imagine, all sense enjoyments you have over there. So Ishtam is any kind of enjoyment, right? And then Anishtam brings sorrow and Ishtam brings joy. That's the bottom line. Ultimately, what we're measuring in Karma Phala is what is bringing me joy and what is bringing me sorrow. And Mishram brings a mix of both. So there's a statement of fact that there are three types of Karma Phala. The previous verse said, don't insist on a particular one coming. Why? Because three could come. Any of three types could come. And which one will likely come the most? Mixed, right? So it is out of our control. Then he says, Bhavati atyaginam pretya. Bhavati atyaginam, those people who are atyagi, who have likes and dislikes, who have not given up insistence on results coming the way they want, well, they're always worried about what they're going to get. Right? Someone may not have studied Bhagavad Gita, but they know they're not always going to get what they want. Right? And they're the ones who are going to get the three results. Right? Not just here, Pritya, even after death, they're going to get it. In next life, the story continues. Naraka you go, problem. Swarga you go, also problem. You read Ramayana, and then you'll see how much problem Swarga is. The Devatas are always afraid of someone coming to take their throne and take their kingdom. And look how Ravana had them standing there like that. And so even in Swarga, there's problem. I don't know if I told in this class. One of my friends gave me a poster. Someone gave me a poster when I was a teenager. And it said, Why worry? That was the title. Why worry? You're either going to go to heaven or hell. Or you're either going to live or die. If you live, you have no need to worry. If you die, you're either going to go to heaven or hell. I wish I could remember verses the way I remember this. So years ago, and it's like perfectly stuck in my mind. Okay, you're either going to go to heaven or hell. If you go to heaven, there's no need to worry. If you go to hell, you'll be too busy shaking hands with all your friends that there'll be no time to worry. Why worry? Mishram, we're going to get results and they're going to come out of our control. And if we are atyagi, if we have not given up insistence on results coming the way we want, then we're going to be bothered by the fact that the results are coming in this way. The results are bringing joy, they're bringing sorrow, they're bringing a mix. Like the child who wants a pink Smartie, the blue Smartie, versus you who's not bothered by which color you get. Right? Imagine you could live your life the same way, accepting all karma phalas the way you accept whatever color of Smartie comes. Well, that's just unimaginable to us right now, right? But Bhagavan says, Natu sannyasinam kvachit. Sannyasis do not face those results. There's no question of desirable, undesirable, mixed results for them. And he'll elaborate again. But the point is, if I'm not a tyagi and I have not given up insistence on results, then when they come, I will say, I didn't want this, I wanted this is not fair. If I'm a tyagi, then when they come, well, I've given up insistence on which one coming. So it doesn't bother me so much. But a sannyasi is even one level high. A sannyasi and this will come more again, but a sannyasi is one who has dropped the I, who says, I don't prefer this result. There's no individuality to say I like or I don't like. And this is the fundamental solution. It's not easy, but it's the journey. A sannyasi is beyond karma phala because he's beyond karma. So, like if you are living in address A, you're living in Georgetown, right? And then you move to Berbice, which is another part of Guyana. Well, if you don't change your address, if someone doesn't know you changed your address and they send you a letter to Georgetown, well, you're not going to get it. The letter was sent, but it was not received by you. In the same way, the karma will send the phala, but there is no you remaining to receive it. That is, that's next level sannyasis. We'll see about them when we do. But actually, it's not wishy-washy words to say that, it comes. See, I'll give you an example. Sri Ramana Maharishi had cancer, and they did surgery on him to remove whatever, that cancerous part or something, right? Cancer or tumor, something. He didn't use anesthesia. And with open eyes, he watched it being done. How? Because he was not identified with the body. So the pain that came to the body was not his pain. We feel that too. When we go to sleep, if someone comes and touches you when you're sleeping, I don't know if you've had a sibling, if you have siblings and you've tried this, where you go to them and then you tickle their feet and then you scratch their head and then you do all kinds of things to them and they have no reaction because they're fully asleep. When you're sleeping, you're disidentified with this gross body. And so whatever happens to the gross body, you don't feel it. The mind is on something else. So the sannyasi is one who is not identified with this body. So the pain, the results that come, he's not there to receive them. We're saying he's there, but he's not actually there. Like that, something like that, right? So this tyaga is supposed to prepare us for that sannyasa. And it is important because, I think this is the last thing I'll tell for this verse, right? It's important because we don't like bondage. And there's no winning in the game of karma. Did any of you grow up playing Snake on the old Nokia phone? The little Nokia phone, or Tetris on the Game Boy, or some any game. Or nowadays, I think they have a game called Candy Crush. They advertise Candy Crush is a thing, right? Oh, okay, I'm seeing nods. Yes. So that's a game where you play and then it goes on and on and on, and you can keep starting again, right? Yes. Okay. So then these are all same example. Now, you tell me, is it possible to win a game of Tetris? Is it possible to win a game of Snake or win a game of Candy Crush? You can beat someone else's score, but what does it mean to win? It'll finish and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to try again and get faster. And then it'll come. And then you'll learn all the tips and the tricks and you'll really get faster and faster and faster. And then your game is to try to beat your high score. I've wasted many hours on that little phone. Right? But really speaking, is there any winning? No. There's only losing. In that whole thing, we lose our life. There's no winning. There's no end. That's exactly like karma. There's no winning with karma, and there's no end to it. So, Bhagavan is saying we must act. Everyone must act. We're always doing karma, but do it giving up likes and dislikes. Do your duty. Do it without insisting on results. Results will come because every action has an effect. There are 3 types of results: mixed, undesirable, desirable, mixed. If you are a tyagi, you won't be so affected because you've given up insistence. If you are a atyagi, then you will feel it because your emotions are at the behest of the ups and downs of the phalas that are coming. And if you're a sannyasi, there's no you to say it is good or bad or mixed. And so this is direction we move in. Now, Bhagavan backs up a little bit to help us to understand karma in its entirety. What are all the ingredients? What is its structure? And it's important because karma runs our life. So what we do, what we get. See, right now we try to control our happiness or our sorrow by doing or not doing things. Correct? If you are making a cake and it comes out hard, you don't know if you've made a cake before and it has tasted like a almost like a rock, very hard, right? So then you think, no, I'm going to master this. And then you start by switching out ingredients. You're like, maybe the flour was bad and you switch out the flour. Maybe the butter was bad and then you switch out the butter. Maybe I used baking soda that was old and then you switch out the baking soda, right? So you change everything, every single ingredient, but there's no difference. It still comes out rock hard. Well, it's because the ingredients are not the only things that determine how the cake will turn out. You could be mixing it too much. You know, they say fold. What does fold mean? I don't know what fold means. Mix, and then it comes out hard. Or it could be because you're baking too long. It could be because you're baking at a wrong temperature. It could be that the altitude is not conducive. It could be that actually there's a secret ingredient that you don't know about that someone sneaks in. There's so many things because of which that cake could turn out hard. Or if I have a toe pain, well, it could be because I stubbed it. It could be because there's some nerve issue. It could be a muscle issue. It could be a bone issue, I think. It could be an infection. It could be a mosquito bite, right? Or maybe I cut my nails in such a way that the nail is poking me and now that's causing pain. So I really can't say there's one reason for toe pain. And I can't say what the reasons are unless I know how the toe is connected to the rest of the body. Point is, there are so many variables. So I can't say definitively which one without understanding all. Now, when it comes to karma, we try to control karma. I will do this action and then I will get that result. I will eat ice cream and then I will be happy. I will get a promotion and then I will be happy. I will get married and then I will be happy. I will plan my life so I have free time this week to do nothing. Then I will be happy. Everyone says these kinds of things. I will do A to get B. Simple equation. This children's equation. 1 + 1 = 2. Do you know people who are bad at math, this is the maximum they can do if they're lucky? Like that. We are bad at karma math. So we do simple equations. 1 + 1 = 2. Vivan's like, hello, hold on. Wait. It's not so simple. Gahana karma no gatihi. Karma is so deep and so many variables. So now he's going to tell us what are those variables. Let us chant verse number 13. Panchaitani mahabaho.
Panchaitani mahabaho.
Karanani nibodh me.
Karanani nibodh me.
Sankhye kritante proktani.
Sankhye kritante proktani.
Siddhaye sarvakarmanam.
Siddhaye sarvakarmanam.
This verse is very simple. Bhagavan says, "Oh Mahabaho, oh mighty Arjuna," meaning it takes someone mighty to understand this, also mighty intellect, right? Sankhye kritante proktani. In Sankhya, which is that which puts an end to our karma, Sankhya kritante, it is said, meaning in Vedanta, it is said, what is said? Siddhaye sarva karmanam, for the accomplishment or for the performance of any karma, karanani nibodhame. Understand from me the causes, meaning the variables, the factors that are involved in any karma. In the performance of any karma, there are multiple factors. How many? Pancha etani. 5 factors. How many do we count? 1. Do this action, get this result. He's saying there are 5 factors. Huh? That's it. This verse is supposed to make us realize, hey, the equation for karma is not so simple. There are multiple things involved before I can come to a clear understanding. So what are those 5? Well, he will tell now in verse number 14. Let us chant. We should have chanted those two together. Adhishtanam tatha karta
अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता
karanam cha pritagvidham
करणं च पृथग्विधम्
vividhascha pritag cheshtaha
विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टाः
evam chaivatra panchamam.
दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम्.
What are these 5? Atra eva Atra eva cha panchamam. Now here are the cha goes with that. Atra eva panchamam. Here are the 5. What are they? Adhishthanam is the first. Adhishthanam literally means support or substratum. Here it means body, right? For us to do any karma, that karma needs a substratum, and that substratum is the physical body. Somebody who doesn't have an arm cannot do certain types of karmas. Someone who's broken a foot cannot do certain types of karmas. So the physical body determines, first of all, what karmas we can do. See, likes and dislikes are all in the realm of the mind. But to get what we like, to go away from what we don't like, it's the body that does. Can you enjoy Netflix with your mind? Well, you might be saying, well, of course I can enjoy Netflix with my mind. What else do I enjoy it with, right? But that it's coming through our eyes. We're sitting and watching it through our eyes. Okay, fine. You want to enjoy Netflix with your mind? Close your eyes, lie in bed, and just use your mind to watch it in your mind. No, we use our body, right? You need a body. Why did the ghost have low self-esteem? Do you know? Because everyone kept telling him he was a nobody. He was a nobody. You have to be funny to get these funny jokes, okay? Just kidding. Okay, first is body. We need a body for karma. Bhagavan is saying first factor, body. Tatha karta. Next, we need a karta, an active doer. The body does not just get up and do without someone inside telling it what to do. Imagine your car just started to drive out the driveway. Oh no, actually, I should take that back. That's a bad example nowadays. Cars do drive out of driveways nowadays. Imagine everything is getting smart. This is getting difficult. Imagine your water bottle started to walk around one day. What's going on with you? Right? I mean, I would like it if my dishes got up and started to do themselves, but that's not going to happen, right? Anyways, there has to be a being, a living being inside who is saying do this and do that because the body is inert. You know that when the jiva leaves the body is right there, but it can't do anything. Right? So the body is inert, it doesn't do anything. So I need an karta, an active doer is needed in this whole thing, right? So there's a body, there's a doer, an active karta. Karanam cha pritak vidha. Then we need the various instruments, meaning the organs of action and the organs of perception. I need my sense of sight. There's the eyes and all, they belong to the physical body, right? But you know somebody can have eyes but not be able to see, right? So that power of sight, power of hearing, that's what we mean by organs of action, organs of perception, all these karanams, all the various instruments. Organs of action are 5, organs of perception are 5, eyes, right? Eyes, ears, nose, skin, tongue, like that, right? Our legs, our hands, and stuff, all or powers because of which we use our senses, like that. They must be working properly. If we can't see, there's no experience of color, form, shape. If we can't hear, there's no experience of sound. You tell me, if you lose your sense of taste, and just imagine you lose your sense of taste, will you waste calories eating sweet things that you can't really taste? Well, if I can't taste it, why should I waste it? That's a waste. I'd rather eat healthy if I can't taste anything. I mean, I don't know if people will actually do that, but theoretically it makes sense, right? Point is, instruments have to be working properly. They are contributors to actions being done. They're a necessary part of our karmas. Then, vividhascha pritak cheshtaha. Then, various activities are also needed. Here are two meanings. One is our physiological functions are required. We need to be able to digestion and circulation and breathing and excretion and all those powers need to be working. If digestion is not working properly, you know how debilitating it is, right? If circulation is not working properly, your mind can say, hey, get up and go and turn on the light because I'm go and turn on the fan because I'm feeling hot. But if that message doesn't get to the legs to get up, the mind can tell it all at once, right? So communication in the body also has to be there between for there to be coordination for action to happen. So physiological functions are required. The other meaning is so many efforts are required to put forth one action. Like for everybody to come to class this morning, how many actions were necessary? I mean, you can't, where will you start? I had to have an interest in this class, first of all. That came from some previous life, maybe, or because I'm mandated to come. I don't know, depending on who you are, right? I needed to have money to buy a laptop so I could turn it on, or a phone, or whatever. Then all the karmas that were required for that phone or laptop to be made. And I mean, on and on and on. You just think how many things were required for a simple thing like me coming to satsang online. Hmm? And well, the most important, oh no, my time. The most important, Devam cha eva Devam is the fifth most important one. Some people translate Devam as luck or fate, or grace, or the divine spark, right? See, when everybody is following rules on the road, right? Everyone's going at the speed limit. What does that indicate to you? That the police is there. I mean, why else will people be going at the speed limit on a Saturday morning or a Sunday morning, right? Holiday Sunday morning, what? Everyone's going its correct limit? Police is around. Now, see how our eyes function, right? The way our eyes function, they can't see all colors. They can only see a certain spectrum, according to my understanding of physics, correct? They only see a certain spectrum. Then when I look at the world, red is always red, and black is not always black. Black changes. Proof here, right? Well, red. Let's take red. Red is always red. So the point is that the eyes follow certain laws in the way that they see. When I smell, well, something that smells sweet today will smell sweet tomorrow. Something that is rotten will smell rotten, no matter how badly I want it to not smell rotten, right? All of our senses are powers, and they're operating within the laws of nature. Now, this is something that is not taught in science, and we're not used to thinking about it if you've not been exposed to this idea, but we have to reorient our mind. In science, the laws are just inert things that are just there. But in Sanatana Dharma, every power or every law of nature has a presiding deity. And they are the overseer of the power of that sense. They're the overseer of the laws that govern that power. They're called devatas. So Surya Devata is the Devata of our eyes. Without light, we can't see. Without the blessings of Surya Devata, our eyes won't work. Varuna Devata is the Devata of taste. Only in the medium of water can you taste. So the point is, the presiding deities are the ones because of whom we can see, do, interact with anything in this world. So we need their grace. You know, like when we do Navagraha Puja, for instance, right? It's not that if you don't pray to them, they will be angry with you. I mean, that's the wrong attitude when we do puja, right? But really, it's about recognition about the role that these divine forces have in my life and an expression of gratitude to them. It's a recognition that there are others who are in control of what I can and can't do. We know this very well in the government world. If I want to start a project or build a house, you know how many approvals are needed. The law is there, and I'm ready to follow the law, but there is somebody who's overseeing the law who has to take time, who should take their time to grant approval for my application. How many minutes does it take to sign a paper? Or to click OK? Yes, granted. Oh, I mean, 30 seconds if I'm being generous. But it could take 2 years for that thing to get done, yes or no? Grace is required. Some factor outside of our control is required, right? So, and the easiest, a very simple example is see, a tree has everything. If a tree has nutrients and water and good soil and everything that it needs, right? But it doesn't have the sun, what will happen? You know, when you put a little seedling to sprout in the dark and then you forget about it, well, it doesn't go anywhere, right? The sun is Deva, is that divine principle, that divine factor for the tree. Point is, there is a grace beyond actions, beyond elements in my control, because of which an action can happen or bear fruit. You know, there's no guarantee that planting pepper seeds, I will get peppers. But still I get. Huh? How in spite of so many things that could go wrong and so many animals that could come and eat it, I still got the vegetables. It's actually remarkable to think. Anyways, all 5 of these factors are required for any action. Bhagavan will reiterate that in the next verse, but unfortunately, I have to stop at 8 o'clock today. So I will say closing prayer, but I will just take a minute to tell a couple of announcements. Please do think about how all of these 5 factors are involved in karma and the implications to us and how superficially we judge how we're going to get results. Give more thought to this. We've talked about the 5 factors. Now try and see, take a karma and try and analyze what is this and how each of those contributed to that karma. And you give thought to that whole process. And then next week we'll see, not next week. Now holidays start. 27th is holiday. 3rd is holiday. 10th we have a retreat, a weekend retreat, so I can't do the 10th. So our next class will be the 17th. Outside of my control. Yeah, this next, I was really hoping to finish the next verse for the train of thought, but I mean, I just talked about how things are not in our control, neither is this. So I will see you all in the new year, and we will come with new inspiration to do Vichara on this Bhagavad Gita. And it's a very special year coming up, Chinmay Mission's 75th year. So very excited. We'll share all the exciting things we're doing. We see you. Okay. Have a wonderful end of year. Please, when you keep thinking, I want time to do nothing, remember these verses. Think about them a little bit. And I'll see you. Feel free to message me, be like, yeah, I wanted to do nothing, and then I realized I can't, or something. Feel free to message, no problem. And I'll see you all next year. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om.